So you're looking to get into jazz improvisation, but the amount of resources and content out there is a bit overwhelming. This is an all too common problem that so many people face, and because of this, I want to make this video as a starting point on your improvisational journey that will give you the fundamental elements that you need to progress. Let's jump in and talk about the first thing that you'll need, an understanding of swing. Swing, as you probably already know, is one of the core elements that makes jazz sound the way it does. So if you listen to this versus this, they obviously sound a bit different. The reason they sound different is because, you guessed it, swing. The swing feel is based around the triplet and focuses on the first and third triplet. Notice that it's not really like this. What I played is a really common misunderstanding of the swing feel, and it sounds kind of hokey, and that's because the triplets, even though we're playing the first and the third, are played perfectly straight and kind of sound more like a gallop. When we play our swing feel, it's based around the triplet and not purely on the triplet. It's a little bit more connected and sounds kind of like this. So the really best way to get good at swing time is to, of course, listen to records that have this kind of sound. Here are a couple records to get you started. Another way to internalize swing feel is to try to lock in against something that has really good swing feel. For this exercise, we're going to download the app called Drum Genius. This is an app that has tons of drum samples played by many of the greatest drummers in jazz. For this lesson, let's use sample number 5 in medium slow swing jazz, and then we're going to play our 8th note feel and try to lock in against the groove that our drummer is giving us. So we have some understanding of swing feel now. Let's build on that and now begin to talk about swing rhythms. The first rhythm that you need to know is called the Charleston and sounds like this. Try clapping or playing this rhythm along with Drum Genius and really try to lock in to the time, especially that second note on the upbeat. The next rhythm is this. It's pretty much the Charleston, like before, but now we're playing all the 8th notes in between the 2 notes that we were playing. The third rhythm I want you to learn is this. This one focuses on upbeats, while our next rhythm focuses on downbeats. So now that we have 4 jazz rhythms, I want us to start improvising with them. So what you're going to do is put on our Drum Genius backing track that we've been using, and I want you to play these rhythms, but switch between them randomly. You could go from the first one to the third one, or from the second one to the first one, really in any order. Here's an example. Remember that you can also leave space too. Try putting a measure, being 4 beats of silence, in between our jazz rhythms, kind of like this. Now that we have some swing rhythms under our belt, let's incorporate some musical notes. For this lesson, we're going to use one of my favorite scales called the Kansas City Blues Scale. It sounds like this. This scale only has 5 notes in it, but can be used over tons of different things. But for right now, what we're going to do is just play up the scale using our jazz rhythms. You could also play going down the scale too. Try doing our rhythm exercise like we did before, but now I want you to do it with the Kansas City Blues scale, going either up or down. At this point, these rhythms should be starting to feel like second nature, hopefully. Not only that, but now we have the sound of the Kansas City Blues scale in our ears, which is one of the core elements and sounds of jazz music. Let's learn another core element of jazz: language. So jazz is made up of bits and pieces of musical phrases called language. It's exactly like talking. When I'm speaking to you now, I'm using words that are not made up, but I'm able to take them and rearrange them to express what I'm trying to say to you. As you learn more about jazz, you're going to inevitably learn more language. But for today, we're going to start with 3 pieces of jazz language that are based around our Kansas City Blues scale that sound like this. Once you can play these 3 lines along with Drum Genius and lock in, then I want you to do the same exercise as we did before. Try skipping around these 3 lines and playing them in various orders. Once you're able to do that, try mixing in our jazz rhythms from before and either play them up the scale, down the scale, or just play it on one note of the Kansas City Blues scale. Now, when you can do this, what you're doing is getting your brain used to the idea of taking material that you already know and using it in ways that might be new. This, my friends, is improvisation, and guess what? You're improvising. The only difference between playing a super masterful solo and this is that those people, maybe like jazz greats like Wes Montgomery or Grant Green, have tons of material to pull from, and it almost sounds like they're speaking, which essentially they are. And just like that, we have gone from knowing very little about jazz to really understanding the core elements that will help us in our jazz improvisational journey. If you like this lesson and want me to continue doing more lessons like this and build on it, make sure to leave a like and also leave a comment telling me that you want me to do that. Also, a quick self-plug, I do have an online studio that I have a little bit of open spaces for. So if you want to study jazz and you like how I teach, just send me an email through my website, which you can find in the video description below. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and remember to always keep swinging.